right? And then I kind of realized this whole power of social in today's world, and word of mouth, etc. While we don't spend, like, we spoke about this recently, which is, we run a really popular affiliate program. So every customer of ours can refer, their friends and family, and we share a certain percentage of the of the brokerage. But we share it only once it's generated and nothing before. So technically, you can look at what we eventually pay as CAC, but it's not really CAC because, the customer, I'm sharing of something that I'm already generating. So, it's not really technically a CAC. So, so yeah, so it's, I mean, it started like that. And then competition came in, and they started, upping the game in terms of how much money they're spending. Um, then, we were forced to up every time, someone was spending more. I was like, dude, we need to do something better in terms of product, in terms of offering, in terms of initiatives, because otherwise the guy who's going to spend more is going to win. So it almost, competition spending almost forced us to, like, say, what, you need to constantly innovate as a product and a business for you to be able to do well. So I think at the end of the day, as a business, the idea is to build moats, right? As in, it's, what is hard for someone else to copy, and spending money isn't hard, I mean, so yeah, so I mean, like, like in 2000, between 2000, actually 2011 September is when, Economic Times wrote a small little article about discount broking and mentioned Zeroda on it. Our business suddenly ticked up quite a bit. But then I started spending every day 1 hour with the press, right? With the journalists, between 2012 to 2017, 18. And then I kind of realized that by 17, 18, the power of the press was draining. And that's when I got on social media, because I was actually a late to this whole social media part. I used to manage Zeroda's accounts, but I kind of realized that they were kind of killing the reach of the platform, like, like a business's reach, because they wanted the business to advertise. So that's when I opened that LinkedIn account, and, like, I started talking stuff, so, which was because then again, you kind of realize that now that we have a story which is unique to say, that itself is a mode, right? As in, just to be able to say things which most people are not saying, even though many might agree. It gives me a lot of freedom to say it, because I don't, there's no obligation. So I'm like, what, I need to leverage on this, because it'll eventually also help the business grow of sorts. So yeah, so at every point of time, I think, you kind of try to say and do things which is very hard for the competition to do. And that has in turn also helped keep the, CAC low. I mean, the joke here is, when I like, right when we started, someone on the team asked me, dude, why, charge an account opening fees? And I gave him an analogy of, back in, I don't know if Bangalore, the clubs and pubs, still have a cover charge, but,
Some of them probably do.
they do. Okay, I
And it's
haven't.
still male-centric, the whole city right now, so
All
they'll
right.
probably need to recover that.
Yeah, so but back, when I used to go, clubbing and pubbing, whatever, so back in, say, early 2000s, etc., so the coolest clubs and pubs in town were which had a cover charge, right? I was like, like, they were the ones who made the most money. They had the best crowd, everything, I mean, the ones who let everyone enter for free, I just
Or paid them to come.
paid him to come, didn't really have anything. So I was like, like, charging fees, in a way also filters out the audience, like from the serious to non-serious. In a regulated business, every customer brings a compliance burden, compliance risk. So I'm like, if I'm not gonna make business out of him, why even, get him on, right? And two is, um, our business is also, about real money, right? It's not Zynga poker, right? As in, I mean, so, so I want that people to have like a seriousness of sorts right at the start. Committing money right at account opening is a way for us to say, what, was you're doing something serious in life, right? So you're coming in. I mean, this is how we had thought about, like, why charge an account opening fees. And that strategy has worked. I mean, if you take away last year's profits, but say profit from start of the business till, say, 2021, all the net profit we generated, if we had spent 4,000 rupees a customer to acquire, we would not have been a profitable business, right? I mean, the net profit was equal to 4,000 into all the customers still die. So yeah, so it's kind of the strategy has actually kind of played out okay. So.
Um, I'm gonna ask you two questions. One is, So I spoke to a bunch of financial influencers, and you run a lot of affiliate programs with them, and I asked them that you work with almost everybody and all of your competition, and who do you trust the most? And like hands down, one answer, Zeroda, and on everything, the way you run it, the way you compensate, the way you have been consistent, uh, and it's not that you like been doing. What has managed to even create trust in these cohorts? Number one, and while the competition was doing everything that they are doing, and I'm not saying that they are not, they will make money also. Like I'm assuming that there is enough room for that. But why do you think you actually did much better, despite all of this cash that came to compete with you?
Yeah, I mean, some of these guys have actually made lots of money from a competition, like stupid amounts of money, but they still give their serious business to us, right? And I think it's again got to do with trust. I mean, so even for the partners, we have a forum where I actively interact with all our partners. Just to give an example, and we allow all partners to interact with each other. I don't think anyone does it, right? Because you don't want affiliates to be interacting to each other. No one's going to create a centralized platform because you're then afraid that some new guy will come with a new product and take away all of these affiliates. I mean, all of these partners. I'm like, dude, if these guys have to be spotted, they'll be spotted, they'll be taken away. I mean, you cannot not do it, you know, trying to protect, trying to be like, keeping your affiliates like a secret of sorts. Uh, and then, just actively, I think answering to these people, uh, being very consistent in our, program. I mean, we of course tweaked it over time. I think I mean the reason they like us is also because we have a stupid affiliate program in a way, in a sense that we pay for life, but we didn't go and change it, right? I mean, I think where you break trust is suddenly you committed into a certain relationship, saying something, and then you go back and say, what, I won't do this now. We haven't done stuff like that, and then you keep doing that over a period of time. That I think trust builds, right? I mean, the customers. The reason I think 11 million people open an account with us is because we have never done anything which is not right for the customer, and it's the same thing with the partners as well. And I think it's kind of helped because so we have like quite a crazy amount of partners. Like having these guys by our side is in a digital world. Um, you know, it, it helps the brand. I mean, it's not like it's just a one way up, right? I mean, we've had our roller coaster. We've had our bad moments because there is trust. A lot of these guys are supported through our bad times as well. So, which also helps the brand in a way of sort.
Talking about trust, one of the most unusual things that I have seen you do consistently is talk about how very few customers of yours are making money, and how some of the trading behavior is not good for their money, and you've openly talked about that. You've published stats about it, and it sounds very counterintuitive because if they really stop doing that, it'll impact your revenue and profits. But you still talk about it openly. First of all, what do you think is going on, and like why are people not listening, and why do you do it?
So the thing is, like I think I'm not thinking of Zeroda as like a 5-year business, or like I mean, I found my life calling. I'm gonna be, at 60 probably be doing this, right? So I'm not looking at customers coming, generating quickly, and then burning off. I'm thinking, how do I keep my customers active for 60 years? I mean, until I retire, whatever, right? Like forever, right? I mean, how do I get them to be active in the markets forever? And they can be active forever only if they're doing better with the money. I mean, otherwise, you're gonna do some stupidity, you're gonna disappear. I mean, like the biggest reason for the very shallow market participation in this country, while we have 9 crore demat, but if you actually go pick up how many people are actually actively traded last year, it might be 1 crore. I mean, what's the point of having 9 crore demats if only 1 crore people are actively trading? I mean, that 9 crore number is just, it's of no use, right? So one I think like I'm constantly thinking, how do we get people to do better with the money? So, and while it might seem it's for some social reasons, but it's really actually also for business reasons, right? I mean, um, because for every business, cost of acquisition is really the biggest challenge. Acquiring a new customer is the biggest cost. So if you have a customer why do you want to lose him, right? As in, like, first is that. And two is, if you have a customer who's active, he's going to introduce a lot more customers to you. The only way people start trading, investing in the market is because of, peer. I mean, no one randomly sees someone, like an actor dancing around trees and say, you know what, dude, I'll open a trading account. I mean, so, I mean, even if someone opens a trading account, he's not going to put money in trade. So yeah, so it's very important that, those customers remain active, because then they're going to propagate, they're going to, kind of, the word of mouth is going to really kick in. But if you stop trading, talk about markets, that it stops, right? As in, and the whole power of compounding is to be able